guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you how I make almond croissants. Now, these, the very first time I ever had these was in 2009 at a bakery in a casino in Vegas, and they have ever since just been on my mind and they rocked my world. So I want to share with you sort of my version of them. They're incredibly easy to make, and using store-bought croissants definitely is a lifesaver, and it makes for the perfect breakfast treat on a weekend morning. But they're also sort of quick and easy enough to make on a weekday morning if you're feeling fancy and if you have like another extra half an hour to spare before you go to work. Let me take you over the ingredients so we can get started. You'll need some ground almonds, granulated sugar, sliced almonds, unsalted butter that's been softened, eggs, a little bit of flour, salt, and what I have here is some vanilla and almond extract, and you're also going to need a little bit of lemon zest. So let's get started. I've got my oven preheated to 350. By the way, you'll also need some croissants. Have I mentioned that? You're going to need some croissants. These are just store-bought croissants. If you want to make your own, you know I've got an amazing recipe on homemade croissants. They've been very popular here since I've made them about a year ago, and I know a lot of you have made them, but if you watched that video, you know that to make croissants from scratch, they take about 3 days because there just need to be different steps that you do on each day. So I just buy them, and they're really good if you can buy them a day before, because when they're a little bit stale, the texture just improves. I don't know why, it's just phenomenal. So let's get started. The very first thing I did after preheating my oven is I split my croissants in half. That's what they look like. Look at this little flaky layers. Oh, they smell so good. Set those aside on a baking sheet. I just line it with parchment paper, but it's not that necessary. In a bowl, I'm gonna add my butter. Now, this filling is the same filling I use for when I make my frangipane tart or my pear frangipane tart. If you want a recipe on that, I can share it with you. I also make it with cherries. I make it with a ton of different things. This is the almond filling. It is so good. You can put it on anything and everything, and it makes anything, it's preheated, it makes everything phenomenal. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my hand mixer here because I want this to be nice and creamy, and then we'll add the remaining ingredients. I'm gonna add the eggs, a little bit of flour and salt, the extracts, the almond meal, also known as ground almonds, and a little tiny bit of lemon zest. Now let me tell you about my trick. Anytime you are working with almonds, in particular when you're using almond extract, try adding like less than a quarter of a teaspoon of lemon zest. You don't actually taste the lemon, but almond extract in particular can be almost taste very sweet. That almost cuts it. You don't really taste the lemon, but it just makes that almond flavor really pop and stand out. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix this for a few minutes because you don't want this just to be combined. You want the mixture to almost take on like a moussey texture, like a very thick cream texture. So you're gonna have to beat this for a while. That's why I'm using my hand whisk, but you can use your standing mixer if you want to. That is what you are looking for. You see how it's really thick and almost moussey? That's the consistency we want. Okay, move that aside, and now it's really easy. You take each of your croissant halves, you take a couple tablespoons, maybe not even, a little bit less than that, of your cream. You kind of smear it in the center like so. I cannot wait, just you wait, because these are phenomenal. You put your lid on, and then you smear some more of this on top. And I know it looks crazy, but just trust me, it bakes beautifully. And when you dust these with confectioner sugar over the toasted almonds, it's like a bakery. And then you just take your almonds, your thinly sliced almonds, and you just put a layer of those on the very top. And that is it. I'm going to continue to build each one, and then we'll bake them. These are all done. Now the filling makes enough for like 8 to 10 croissants. It really depends on the size of your croissants. I know I have a couple more croissants and I'll be able to finish that. So keep an eye on that. I'm going to pop these into the oven for 18 to 20 minutes or until deeply golden brown on top. Let them cool slightly, and then I'll show you what they look like. My croissants were in the oven for exactly 20 minutes, and I let them cool for about 10 minutes, and it smells amazing in here. You need to dust them generously with confectioner sugar because that's just the way it goes. That's how I've had them, and that's how they are meant to be eaten. And I'm just going to dive into one right away because I can't take it anymore. I'm going to go to this one. You know why? Because it's a little bit flatter, and therefore I get more of that almond cream. Oh, you can't see the almond cream because it's kind of all baked into the croissant. You can't really see it, but I'm not joking. I'm not kidding at all when I tell you that maybe the best croissant you will ever have. It will give the classic chocolate croissant a run for its money, and I think I would always choose that. There are no words. Just go to laurainyourkitchen.com, get the recipe. Just make them. Your life will be forever changed. You will thank me forever. This weekend, I want you to make these croissants. Post a picture on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you prefer. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to tell you how much I love you for making them. You will never regret it. I hope you've enjoyed spending time with me. I can't even talk anymore because you literally need to just go and make these because your life will be forever changed. I'll see you next time. Bye.